Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to The Hooded Lid. Today I want to do part 3 of my series on summer perfumes. For now this might be the final one, but I have so many others that don't fall into categories that I have a feeling there will be a fourth. But today I wanted to do citrus, but upon further exploration, upon inventory of my stash, I don't really have that many in the citrus family. Citrus is very hard to do because the molecules are, I wouldn't say they're unstable, but they have a tendency to dissipate quite quickly. A lot of fragrances, in fact, open with a citrus because it's a lovely feeling. Who doesn't love a citrus? But it can't hang around. You very rarely find a citrus in the base notes or in the middle notes, and if you do, they oftentimes smell a little bit off to me. So I noticed I did have things that had some iris in them and a couple of other interesting things that I brought together, and I have 5 ideas. One is a citrus, and let's get into it. I'm gonna put on my glasses for this one. The first one is vintage. Should I start with the most difficult? Let's do that. The first one is a vintage. It was made in 1969. It is Calandra by Paco Rabanne. I have several bottles of this that are 20 years old. Remarkably, they have remained lovely and quite stable. Remarkable because it does open with aldehydes, and aldehydes are well known for being a little bit unstable. They tend to turn first if you have a perfume with aldehydes in it, and then they start to smell kind of like celery juice, which isn't fun. This is Calandra by Paco Rabanne. Came out in 1969. The perfumer is Michael High, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the notes. We have bergamot, galbanum, rose, jasmine, geranium, orris, lily of the valley, hyacinth, this is all the middle, sandalwood, vetiver, and oak moss. Galbanum, boy, some days speaking is really a challenge. Galbanum is a grassy, green, bitter scent. It's in a lot of green scents. If you like that green freshness, there's probably a little bit of galbanum in it. Sometimes it is magical, and sometimes it's just too heavy-handed and too much. Rose and jasmine, geranium, and orris. Orris is the root of iris, and iris is a very cool, chilling, I think of the color purple when I think of it. Not just because irises are often purple, but because it's cool like that. It's kind of a whisper of a scent, but once you learn what it is, it's identifiable quite easily. But it took me a while when I first started getting into perfumes to figure out what is the scent of iris, also known as orris. Geranium is rather spicy. Jasmine can be full-bodied. Rose, we all know that. Lily of the valley is usually sweet and light and lovely. Who doesn't love a lily of the valley? Vetiver is a grassy, but it's a dried, arid, grassy, a little bit spicy scent. It's often found in men's cologne, but there's Guerlain makes one for women as well, which is a classic. And oak moss. Oak moss is no longer allowed in perfumes, but this bottle is old, so there's a chance I have real oak moss in this. Oak moss is oftentimes a base note for a chypre, but I wouldn't call this a chypre. A chypre is a kind of perfume, a category, like an oriental or a floriental, a floral oriental. To me, I wore this yesterday. I'm not going to spray it today because I'm wearing something else. But to me, of everything I have brought together for this presentation to you, this is the one that is the easiest to wear. It has like this gossamer veil over you. It's not too sweet, it's not too floral, but it's undeniably floral. But it's just a whisper. It lays so beautiful, it wears so beautiful, it's easy to do, and I think this would be a #1 pick for what I like to call a wallpaper scent. Something you put on, you don't have to think about it, but you love the way you smell. So this is Paco Rabanne, great for everyday wear, day or night, easy, fresh, but not watery fresh, not the fresh that we're so used to seeing these days. Lovely for summer, really, really top notch. Might be my best out of all of them that I'm presenting today. This is one you'll probably be familiar with. Even though it came out in 1986, it is still around, and I have a new bottle here, and remarkably, I don't think it's changed all that much. This is Kale Ex. Kale Ex used to be made by Prescriptives, now being made by Clinique. I believe they have the same owner. I'm going to guess it's Estee Lauder, since Estee Lauder owns almost everything. Could be L'Oreal. Could be. Debuting in 1986, it was designed by Sophia Grossman. Let me read you the notes. Apricot, peach, bergamot, lily of the valley, jasmine, melon, orris, cyclamen, rose, moss, raspberry, and cedar. Now, as you can see, there's a couple of things in common with the Paco Rabanne. The lily of the valley, the jasmine, the orris, the rose, and moss, which I think is another word for oak moss. Maybe, maybe not. This is a dangerous one. If this turns, it's way too hard to handle because of the melon, the peach, and the apricot. It can really hit you with that fruitiness, and almost for me, it make me a little bit nauseous. If this turns, bounce it out, jettison, get another one. They're easily available, they're not too expensive, and I've done it myself. This one is fresh, I'm wearing it today, and I haven't tried this in a while, but I kept it in a box and in a dark cupboard, so it's absolutely unchanged, and boop, boop, boop. I like to do the hair. And now it's in my mouth. Thumbs up. But I'm not really getting hit with the apricot, with the peach, with the melon. If you want to smell like fruit, this might not do it for you, but it might. It has these commonalities with the other things I'm talking about, but this is invigorating. I wore this in my 20s in the summertime. I couldn't leave the house without it. I mean, I felt naked if I went to work and I wasn't wearing this. When it was hot and humid, it just kind of cut through that for me. Although it's not sharp. When I say cut through, it kind of cuts through that humidity without just slicing through it, if that makes any sense. It's so beautiful. It really is. That's why it came back when Prescriptives decided to, I think it was Estee Lauder, when Estee Lauder decided to get rid of the Prescriptives line. This stayed because of popular demand, because it is such a really well-made perfume. It's a classic. It doesn't date itself in any shape, way, or form, and it's well worth having in your summer wardrobe. So that is Kale Ex by Clinique, formerly Prescriptives. Now I want to talk about something a little less available in the United States. This is by Annick Goutal, which is a brand that used to be widely seen in the United States. Whenever I saw it at a department store, their station, I don't know what you call it, but their station had like 80. It had, I remember it was like 2 semicircles and all the testers all the way around. Now, it's overwhelming when a company presents that many scents to you at one time. And you test 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your nose is just gone. Everything starts to smell alike. And that's a shame, because you're missing some beautiful gems in this line. Something happened to their distribution a couple of years ago. And I don't know what it is, but I remember seeing online they're figuring out new distribution. I thought it would be pretty quick, but this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I still don't see them in stores. They are available online, and they have some really beautiful fragrances. But right now I'm going to talk about this summer fragrance. This is Pheo Neo, and they categorize this as a masculine, but don't let that scare you off. I think a woman can wear this easily, and as you can see, I've worn it plenty. Now, Pheo Neo is a little different than the others that I am talking about so far, in that it doesn't have the same notes. It is, maybe that's because it is considered a masculine. Light bulb. Oh, light bulb. Okay, you can't see that. Light bulb moment. Pheo Neo was created by Isabelle Doyen in 2009. It is considered masculine, as I noted, and here are the notes, opening notes: Italian lemon, petitgrain, bitter orange, and we'll have more on that next. Galbanum, this I can't pronounce, I'm going to butcher it. Lentisque absolute, fig leaf, and lemon tree wood. What they don't mention in these notes is what is most prominent to my nose, and that is tomato leaf. If you imagine a tomato bush and you get a couple of leaves and kind of rub them in your hands together, smell your hands, that's that scent. It is invigorating and different, and summer, just the essence of summer. Imagine the sun beating down on a tomato plant before you pick those leaves. It just screams summer to me. The fig, the lemon I really don't get that much. A little bit. The fig is almost the body. It's almost the foundation upon which everything else is dancing around. But it's not an absolute fig. It's not like other fig scents that you might be familiar with. So if you find fig a bit of a turn-off, don't worry, this is not hitting you in the face with its figginess. I find this really lovely in summer weather. I do think of it more as a casual scent. I don't think this is something I would wear to the office, but it's worth giving it a try. You try it on the weekends first. If you like it, go ahead, bring it to the office. If there's a man in your life, this might be a really, really nice gift that you could share. What a great idea. Maybe this is what you do. You buy it as a gift for the man in your life and you share it and see how he likes it. It's invigorating. That tomato leaf is really what it is to me. I consider it tomato leaf and fig and summer. There's almost a Mediterranean feel to it. That's what I picture in my head about this one. The bottle is green, and green is not really the color I think of when I think of this, but I can't think of another color that I would. So that's Pheo Neo by Annick Goutal, and I'm sure you can find that online. Next up, Chanel number 19. Chanel number 19, the EDT and the EDP are quite different. We're talking today about the EDT. The EDP is quite powdery and it has a very, very different scent. Not something, more spring, if I was looking at the calendar, than summer. Chanel number 19 was created by Henri Robert, who was the in-house nose for Chanel, and apparently the legend has it he made this for Coco Chanel. 19 is her birthday. Her birthday is August 19th, and for some time, I don't know how long, this was her perfume alone, and then I think she had some produced for special clients, and it wasn't until after she passed away that the company decided to release this to the public. And it's so interesting. It's so different than the other Chanels. You don't have a cap you can pull off and sniff, and I just doused myself in the Kale Ex, so I'm not going to. But I wore this a couple of days ago. I'll tell you about the notes first, and then I'll tell you what I think. Galbanum is the first note. And you'll notice that that was in another fragrance that we mentioned. It has that grassiness to it. Bergamot, which is the citrus. Neroli, citrus. Hyacinth, rose. Orris, jasmine, lily of the valley, and ylang ylang. This is very similar so far to the Calandra, except the ylang ylang in the 19 and the hyacinth in the 19. But hyacinth I consider to be a chilly floral, lily of the valley, chilly floral, orris, a chilly floral, and then you have the warmth of jasmine, and ylang ylang is very warm and full-bodied. So that's an interesting balance. Then it has the sandalwood, the vetiver, the leather, and the oak moss. Very similar to the Calandra, which, by the way, came out first. The vetiver I don't really get too much in this, and the oak moss is synthetic. It's not real oak moss. This sandalwood is, I would say the sandalwood I don't really get either. To me, the leather acts as a bit of a weight on it. Again, it's like the foundation upon which the flowers are dancing. And this is like, this dances on the edge of being a little too cold, a little too strident. And I hate to use that word because I do love this scent, but there's something about it that is a teeny bit aloof. And it's something I found that I had to learn to love this one, because at first it left me cold. It didn't have heart and warmness to it, but it wasn't invigorating at the same time. And after I tried it over and over, I really came to appreciate this. It's very sophisticated. It's very refreshing. It works well in spring, but I like it in summer when it's really hot because of that chilliness. So that is Chanel number 9, really elegant scent. For some people you have to learn to love it, but once you do, there's really nothing like it. It is a bit more sharp than the Calandra, so if this is too much for you, seek out the Calandra. They're similar, but this is much easier to wear, in my opinion. And then finally, I've got you a big fat citrus. Ta-da! This is Bigarade Concentré by Frederic Malle, and the perfumer is Jean-Claude Bellana. I couldn't find the ingredients for this. I will tell you that Bigarade is a kind of orange, also known as bitter orange, also known as mandarin orange, also known as the Sevilla orange, or Seville, but I think in Spain they call it Sevilla orange. So it is orange, and I think I saw someone say hay as well. But this opens with a lime note that is spectacular. Oh, it smells exactly like a lime, whether it's a lime leaf or the rind. If you took a lime leaf and punctured your thumbnails into it and messed it around on your fingers, that's the scent that you're getting. And that's why I love this in summer, because it's invigorating and it cuts through heat. And it's cutting through heat because it's sharp, but in the best way. Similar to the way the Pheo Neo has the tomato leaf up front, except I love this one so much more. This is just sunny and yet cooling because of that sharpness. It's incredibly, to me, it's incredibly Mediterranean, and I wore this exclusively, although you can't tell, it's a big bottle, for months last summer, and I expect that I'm going to be using it again this summer. It's kind of casual. Because it's a citrus, it doesn't hang around or cling too long, and I tend to reapply it a lot. This absolutely can go to the office, but it's great on the weekends. Not quite a beach scent, but maybe after beach scent. It has a cleanness to it. There's nothing dirty about it. There's nothing heavy about it. I don't get a sense of leather. I don't get a sense of vetiver, which isn't heavy. I don't get an oak moss in this. This is the most airy out of everything else I presented here. There's just not a heaviness about it. It's just sunshine in a bottle. And I think it's a great summer scent. And this is another one, it's not considered a masculine, it's a unisex. Men absolutely can wear this without fear. What a weird thing to be afraid of. So there you have it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 summer fragrances in the green to citrus area. They are perfect scents for vacation. I'm just picturing, you know, a Mediterranean vacation. Not that I've ever had one, but that's what I'm seeing. It's something you could wear by the seas, but enough with that. Every one of these, except for the Pheo Neo, can go to the office. They can go to the weekend. Maybe at night they don't have enough punch. They're great daily perfumes in the hot weather. And, you know, that's what I wanted to present. These are from my personal collection. Therefore, these are things that I really like and enjoy, and I hope that you might check out a couple of them, and maybe some of them will work for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts, actually, so leave some below. So that's it. That concludes installment 3 of summer fragrances that I think you should consider. You won't smell like everybody else. They're a little bit off the beaten path, except for the Kale Ex, but they're really worth looking into. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you learned something new. I hope you had a little bit of fun, and I hope you come back. Until then, I'm wishing you a great day.